10:04.
We're going to get started. All
That's
right.
right. Even though most members come on between 10:04 and 10:05. All right. Take it away, Gary.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And it's Tuesday and another great start to another great week. We have some great news. Our Dolphins won again this past Sunday. So it's a beautiful thing when we have some winning teams here in Miami. In just a few minutes, we'll win some great other items, and that's some tips from our speaker today, Dr. Yaptanoff from Miami-Dade's Beacon Council. Just as an introduction, I'm Gary Pyatt from Association First, Campbell Property Management, and the very, very proud chairman of the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today and happy to welcome you all to our Zoom meeting with our partners from the North Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. Overseeing this chamber is Evan Piper, their fearless leader, and we're so glad, as we've been doing these last couple of months, to partner with our neighboring chambers of commerce to not only increase participation, but to spread the word during these times when we're all doing this by Zoom. So Evan, if you'd like, I'd like to turn it over to you to say a few words and tell us about the North Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce.
All right, well, good morning, and thank you, and thank you, Lane, for having us aboard. We always appreciate and really enjoy, doing events together. And also the fact that we're both out for making sure that we improve business for our members in every way that we can. So again, thank you. I want to thank our members that have joined us today. And I think that it's very relevant that we do have meetings like we have today where we've got good information, good tips on business, because, with our, we have some challenging times, and we always should be focusing on how we can do business better. But particularly in the times that we have right now, we need to be super cautious and super careful. And I think this is extremely relevant, and every little tip can make something. And what I always say, as a speaker at every event, is try to find at least one good takeaway. And I'm sure we're going to have at least that today. So I also wanted to just recognize our executive director, Leslie Lowenthal, who always does a super great job of keeping the chamber moving and getting all our events and everything organized. So just a little shout out for Leslie there. But again, welcome everybody, and thanks so much for having us along.
Thank you, Evan, and thank you, Leslie, as well, for all you do in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce's. We're fortunate to have, again today, as our sponsor. We have sponsors for even these Zoom meetings. We don't have to be in person to have sponsors. We have them, and we are extremely fortunate to have our sponsor of the hour, our sponsor of the day, and that is the new Hilton Aventura, our sponsor today. And their speaker today for us is Ronaldo. Oh, there he went. Ronaldo Ramirez from the Hilton. I lost my thing, what I was following, and it's right there. But Ronaldo, now that you've popped that up and shared the screen, we thank you not only for everything that you've done, but your continued sponsorship to the Aventura Marketing Council and Chamber of Commerce doing all of these Zoom meetings. We have heard about the Hilton Aventura. We've heard that you're opening soon, and I'm sure we can't wait till that day actually happens. So Ronaldo, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Elaine. As always, thank you to the Aventura Marketing Council. You guys, as always, are incredible partners, and thanks to everybody who's connected. So we're going to talk quickly about the Hilton Aventura Miami. And Michael, thanks for being my Vanna White there with the presentation. And so here's just a reminder to everybody about our property.
Yeah.
It's going to be 208
listen,
rooms.
They just started a presentation on the new hotel. Can I give you a call when I'm done here?
Yeah, somebody's
I got it.
Okay, thank you. And so so here's a picture of the hotel as well, a rendering of it. Just to let everybody know, at the bottom where you see there, that's going to be our meeting space, and we were going to have 15,000 square feet of inside and outside meeting space, and we had the honor of having Elaine come and do a hard hat of the property, so she could definitely tell you about the progress we're making. So we're still on schedule to open December 15. This next slide is what the lobby area is going to look like. This is the first thing you're actually going to see when you walk out of the elevators on the 7th floor. is our check-in area. So those 3 pods that you see there are going to be our registration desk, but you know, we can do everything through the Hilton app now. So you could actually circumvent the whole registration desk and check in through the Hilton app also. That's our lobby that we have. And our lobby, as you can see, is going to be very modern type style. In the back there, where you see like the chandelier, that's going to be our bar. Our bar is going to be called Muse Bar, and more news to come on that because it's going to be incredible. And then our restaurant is going to be called Gala. Here's the other side of the lobby. We're going to have a fireplace and a communal table. Of course, we'll have social distancing if necessary at that point. And then the next slide is going to be our executive lounge. We're going to be one of the few properties in the area that's going to have an executive lounge. And we're also going to have a limited amount of memberships for corporate clients. So yeah, as well as access to the gym. That picture you see there, that's our standard guest room. And you can see the beautiful Aventura Mall right across, basically across from Lehman Causeway. So that is actually an actual picture. It's not a rendering. That's actually how our model room looks like. And our rooms will look like that and follow that pattern. Next slide, Michael. That's the king bed. We also have double queen beds as well. We're also gonna have a presidential suite in the hotel and a junior suite also. So that's another picture of it. The only difference, if that TV screen is a 49-inch, we're actually gonna have 65-inch television screens. And the whole room, all our rooms are gonna be high tech with the Hilton connected technology as well. You can control your temperature, everything through your phone. And then that's our beautiful Carrington Grand Ballroom. And that's actually just one part of it. All that area where the doors are, that could all be opened up into one large room that could accommodate up to 500 people. And the chandeliers are here already. So go back real fast, Michael. Those chandeliers were all custom made for the property, and they're already on property, and we're in the process of installing them. So as we go along, I'll show you more pictures with our progress. And in the next few weeks, I'll actually I'll send more information the next time we sponsor something and show you some actual physical updates on the property. And now I'm going to be presenting Dr. Jaap Donaf. Hope I didn't butcher your name, Doctor. Jaap is a teacher at heart, and he's the Senior Vice President for Research and Strategic Planning for the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. And Jaap is a teacher at heart. Prior to coming to the Beacon Council, our county's, if you don't know, it's our county's economic development agency. Jaap was an adjunct professor at Barry University, my alma mater, teaching international business in the MBA program. And he was also an adjunct professor at Johnson & Wales University, teaching research and inquiry in the MBA program. He also taught at Florida Atlantic University, Florida International University, and St. Thomas University. He served as a business development coordinator in North Miami before joining the Beacon Council. And at the Beacon Council, Jaap is responsible for providing up-to-date data and information on Miami-Dade County to allow companies to make informed decisions on locating or expanding here in the county. He also works on one community, one goal, the strategic plan for the community to ensure Miami continues to grow in a sustainable manner. Then this native of the Netherlands is fluent in English, Dutch, and German, and received a PhD and master's degree in international relations and international business from the University of Miami, and has been a speaker at national and international economic development and business conferences, and published and lectured internationally. I'm very proud to introduce our teacher today, Dr. Jaap Donaf, who will guide us through some of the many resources available for small businesses, big ideas for small business, and please pay attention. There's going to be a quiz at the end of this class today. Please welcome Dr. Jaap Donaf.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you for a couple of minutes on behalf of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. What I want to cover today, and hopefully it will generate some questions and some interaction, not only with me, but all of you as a group, is to give you some ideas, some things that we're working on as it relates to small business. And I realize from the folks who are on the call, some of you are running a small business, but might be also at the same time providing service to a small business. So hopefully you'll see this both as a resource or opportunities for use for your own business, as well as for potential clients. So see this both as a way for you to grow your business and get through our crisis we're dealing with, health and economic crisis, as well as helping your clients with those resources. Before I start with those, I want to talk a little bit about Miami-Dade Beacon Council, just to make sure that all of you are up to speed on who we are. I think most of you are familiar with us as an organization, but I want to make sure that all of you understand what we do as an organization for the community, what service we provide, and how we might assist the Aventura area, and in some cases you and or your clients. As Ronaldo said, we're a organization responsible for promoting Miami as a place to do business. So we're a marketing organization. We go out there and promote Miami as a place of business. As a result, we bring companies here from other places and or help local companies expand. And we work throughout Miami-Dade County and work with the different communities, including the Aventura area. We had several companies locate in the Aventura area over the years, financial service type companies, life science companies, both domestic and international. The most recent big project you might have read about is Blackstone, the financial service company that's bringing a tech center of about 200 plus jobs to Miami-Dade County. And so that's an example of what we do as an organization. We promote Miami, and then we help that company with the why Miami as a location with information. That's why I come in as the head of research, providing data information on the why Miami. On a side note, the number one question we get from companies, and probably the same thing for you, is what is the talent availability here in Miami-Dade County? And so we answer that question with what's already in the workforce, the talent that's available, as well as what's being graduated by our universities and college and even high school level graduates, especially in certain fields where they receive certificates. So talent is the number one question that we get. And then we provide information on where in Miami, to what are the costs of doing business in Miami, etc. We're a not-for-profit organization. We don't charge for our services, and all of our services are confidential. So that's why when people ask me, what are you working on? I tell you, I couldn't tell you, or I don't know, because a lot of what we do is confidential. And it allows us to work with companies of all sizes from all places to help them with that process. We help them with site selection, the where in Miami. We help them with information, if it's appropriate, incentives, or any other financial assistance we might be able to provide, again, depending on the type of project. We help with permitting assistance. We work very closely with our cities, including Aventura and other cities in the area, North Miami Beach as well. And so we work a lot with our local municipalities to help with their activities as well. If there's a company that they're working with, we might be able to assist with that process. We're a public-private partnership, which means that we have a public funding source in Miami-Dade County and a private funding source similar to Chambers. We're a 501c6. We call member investors, and that is how we are funded both from the private sector and public sector. We're accredited through our national, actually international economic development organization. We're one of about 60 or so worldwide that are accredited, which means that we are seen as a best practice for the activities that we do as an organization. And we're often being asked to provide best practice ideas to other organizations around the country. One of the things that we have been involved in over the last 7-8 months, and we have been involved with small business activities over the years, but really ramped it up over the last 6-7 months as a result of COVID. And so we started to look at what can we do as an organization in order to help small businesses and business in general of any size, but especially small businesses who were hit hard by this crisis, to make sure that at least we're able to float through this crisis into recovery and hopefully into growth mode again. And so we started to look at what are things that we can do in order to make sure that these businesses have access to information, access to resources. And so our biggest activity so far has been making sure that we provide information and access to resources. So we've been starting to convene a variety of organizations around the community that provide financial resources, technical assistance, any access to business opportunities, you name it. So we have been working over the last 7 months on bringing together partners to create a framework, create a coalition of folks that can provide assistance. And that's where I'm going to talk about today, a little more detail, some of the opportunities that are available for small businesses, in particular micro and small businesses, to find resources and assistance. I think Evan mentioned if there's only one thing you can take away from this presentation, I think the one that would be that there are a huge number of resources available. I think there's not a lack of resources. I think it's a matter of trying to figure out what resource fits best with your needs. And again, I will talk about some of them as examples, as well as location where you can find more detailed lists of service providers for a variety of topics that you can go find information from and get assistance from. So I think the biggest takeaway to me is we have a lot of organizations throughout the county that are available for assistance. And again, I will talk about some of those in more detail. The way I look at these resources, I think there's 3 levels of resources that are important to companies. And we've seen it with the requests we get from our small business that we have been working with, that we are in touch with, and that is technical assistance on a variety of topics, working with marketing assistance, getting ready for a loan or any other financial type of product. It's any legal assistance, whatever it might be. So technical assistance, skill sets that the company or the owners might or might not have at the level that they need in order to bring their company to the next level. The other piece is access to capital. And that's probably the biggest one we get. And that's probably the biggest one that is a challenge for most communities around the country. And I've been on different groups over the last several months, and I hear the same thing, that access to capital is the major one. And the third one is access to business opportunities. I think that's where chambers of commerce come in and other organizations. I'll give you some examples of ones you might not have thought of, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but access to business opportunities. And that's why I think organizations like the Aventura Marketing Council, North Miami Beach Chamber, and I'm a little biased because I live in the area, so I'm familiar with the area much more than most people at the Beacon Council, but I think those organizations are key as part of this process. But there are others as well, which I will talk about in a minute. So one of the things we did is when we saw this need for assistance, special financial assistance, and we started to see some programs being launched by state organizations and the federal government, especially the SBA, is the need for information. So we put up a website called bizhelp.miami. That's bizhelp.miami. And that's an aggregator of information on a variety of topics, in particular related to financial assistance, especially when the PPP loan program was started, the first round, and then we had the second round, and there might be opportunities for a third one in the coming months. We put up information, it's still up, on what it takes, what you need to do to apply for loans, which banks are taking loans. So you can click to see if your bank is one of them. If not, which other banks you can go to do so. What service providers can help with any loan packaging. The number one challenge we've seen through this crisis, and I think that's where a lot of organizations can be very helpful to do the things that you're doing as Aventura Marketing Council and North Miami Beach Chamber, is, again, making sure that small businesses are ready for those needs, whether it's through a crisis or in general to grow. And the biggest one is probably getting ready for financial assistance. So the products are there, whether it's a grant, a loan through a traditional bank or through other alternative funding mechanisms. I'll talk about a couple in a minute. The process to have everything in place, your tax returns, anything you need to do to show your balance sheet or P&L, et cetera. All those pieces that probably many of us take for granted. A lot of small businesses, unfortunately, were not ready for it and are now being helped. But I think that's something that we need to make sure collectively that we create more opportunities for those small businesses to be ready. So bizhelp.miami is a portal that allows small business to find all that information. And so we aggregated it, this information about the CARES Act and other loan programs, any marketing assistance and organizations that provide that assistance, international business, which I talk about in a minute because I think it's a unique one, any funding, some private pro bono partners are on there, procurement, which I'll talk about it in a minute, and in particular technical maximization, what we call anything you need a small business to pivot using technology to continue to operate. So that's one aggregator of information. I'll talk about another one in a minute. Some of the technical assistance providers that we have listed that are active throughout the county, and there are many that are active locally, linked to either CRAs, through municipalities, or some local regional ones. Catalyst Miami has activities that help small businesses. The Florida State Minority Supply Development Council, Prospera, Small Business Development Center, FIU. Those are some examples of organizations that provide hands-on technical assistance for a small business to, again, deal with the crisis, but hopefully more importantly, the recovery and growth. One of the things we see from data is that we really need to focus on growing our companies and get them to the next stage of growth. And that's where we see then job creation and other benefits kick in with small businesses. The other piece I think that is important to be aware of, in addition to hands-on assistance for particular topics, there's several organizations around the county that are running cohorts of training programs, especially those who are relatively new to running a business. For example, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program is a program where you get the training in order to grow your business and all the bits and pieces you need from legal, accounting, marketing, etc. So there's a multi-week program. Miami Bayside Foundation runs those several times a year as a cohort that allows companies to really understand what it takes to grow your business and get the skill sets you need. So a variety of programs around the community that provide training from a really in-depth, longer-term perspective than just one-on-one through organizations that I just mentioned that provide a service for you to get ready for something. The other aggregator that is providing information, and there's some overlap of the information they have, is accesshelps.org. Access, AXISHELPS.org. And they are funded by Citibank, and they have put up a website with similar information on where to find information on resources for assistance. Linked to this, or as a secondary on the website, but even as important, is the South Florida Anchor Alliance. The South Florida Anchor Alliance is a consortium of larger, mainly public or semi-public entities that have been meeting for the last year, year and a half, 2 years, and we're part of it as Beacon Council. I've been involved since the beginning, in order to figure out how can those anchors, and those are some of our major hospitals, our local governments, and our education institutions, and there's both from Miami-Dade and Broward, how can they play a more active role in helping local businesses grow, especially from a procurement point of view, but also from a workforce. And I will focus today on the procurement side. So they've been meeting, we created a blueprint. And so on the access side, you find a link to the Anchor Alliance where you can find procurement opportunities. So the second piece of assistance besides technical assistance is procurement. Again, how do I get information to grow my business, to get the skills I need to grow it? But where do I find potential business partners to sell my product or service? So these anchors, among other companies as well, but these anchors are one resource. And so on the website that the Access Help has with a link to the Anchor Alliance is where you can find information on Miami School System, Miami-Dade County, Sheriff's Office, and a variety of others, FIU, University of Miami, variety of cities that provide opportunities for small business to bid on procurement opportunities. And so that's a good resource. And many of them, besides providing that opportunity, also provide assistance to make sure that you understand what the bid process takes. For example, the school system is very active, so is Miami-Dade County, to get you certified if need be, and get you ready to put in a bid. And so that's another resource a lot of people are not aware of, and they're actively looking for small business to provide whatever they need, and they buy all kinds of stuff. And so it's important to take that opportunity in order to grow your business, because they are looking for folks, because they're always trying to figure out how they can source more information, more business from local providers versus going outside the area. And that's one of the reasons that we're involved as an organization, is to make sure that we figure out a way that whatever leaks out into other parts of the country from a business opportunity where we buy stuff somewhere else, how can we bring that back in and have that purchased locally? And so that's another resource is the South Florida Anchor Alliance and their network of organizations that provide procurement opportunities. From a financial, and that's probably the big one that everyone's looking for. From a financial assistance, access to capital piece, the variety of opportunities. Again, I refer back to the website I just mentioned, the one we put on, bizhelp.miami, accesshelps.org. But to give you a couple examples, probably the big one that's available and it's in the midst of putting out loans is the RISE Fund. That's done through Miami-Dade County. It's a what's called CDFI, so it's alternative funding. So for a lot of small businesses who are not able to get a traditional loan with the bank, this is a great alternative to find financing at good rates or good terms. And they are being helped to work through that process in order to get those loans. It's up to $30,000 per business. It's the RISE Fund. It's risemiamidade.com is the website. And that's is a large one. It's about 25 million at this point. There's plans to try to grow it, and it's a loan. It's not a grant, it's a loan. So when that money comes back into the fund, it will be loaned out again in some form or some point. So it's somewhat of a revolving loan type, but that's the big one. But in addition to the RISE Fund that Miami-Dade County is putting on, there are a variety of others in the community, smaller pots of money, in some cases a little bit smaller loan amounts, but could be very helpful to small business to bridge a particular project from a working capital or need for some equipment, especially if new businesses gotten through new clients. So those are some opportunities out there. These include Action. Miami-Dade Foundation also has a loan fund. The Miami-Dade Chamber has a loan fund. SBA, of course, that's the big one, has a variety of loan funds, and many of you are probably familiar with it. And they work with many of our local banks through a variety of programs. The South Florida Regional Planning Council has a loan fund. They just got were given additional funding for a program to put out in the community for small businesses. And then many smaller CRAs, municipalities have their own program or are working on those and are coming up soon. And then there's a variety of others. Again, the websites that I mentioned and the one we put up has a lot of information available. And so the key to all this is trying to figure out what your needs are and then which organizations are able to help you the best they can to get you ready for whatever opportunity or every need you have. The last piece, and I want to make sure there's enough time for Q&A. The last piece I think that we need to keep in mind that is often overlooked, although everything we do in Miami-Dade County or South Florida for matter touches international. Either some of our clients, our employees are from somewhere else, we buy stuff from other places. So international is another opportunity where you might be able to find business opportunities to sell your product or services. And there's a lot of organizations because we're such an international city, there's a lot of organizations and entities that can help with that process. The one that is very active with a variety of programs and opportunities is the World Trade Center. For example, they have a food and beverage show coming up. They put on a portal to connect local businesses with international opportunities and vice versa. So the World Trade Center is a great opportunity for international business. Enterprise Florida, the state economic development organization, their trade office does a lot of work, including virtual trade shows, virtual trade missions. They have grants available for first time, for companies who try to do something overseas for the first time. So they are a great resource. We have the U.S. Export Assistance Center. They provide a lot of assistance and information. Consular Corps of almost every country. We're the third in the US with number of consulates here in Miami, about 70 or so. They have trade offices that provide linkages to their countries and any opportunities. Binational chambers. Almost every country has a binational chamber, which is German American, the British American, Brazilian American, you name it. There's most likely a chamber available, again, to connect your business with potential opportunities outside our area into those countries. To recap, the key to me is, again, understanding that there are resources available. Most of them are at no charge to the companies using them. Some might charge a small fee if it's very specific for the needs that you have, but most of them are providing information for free. They run the gamut in types of topics: marketing, business plan building, getting ready for financial assistance. How do you get ready for any bids with local governments? How to get certified as a minority business owner, women business owner, etc. All these organizations are out there to help you as a small business owner, or help your clients if you work with small businesses, that can help them grow. And I think, to me, this is not only to go through this crisis and recovery, but especially how we can get ready to grow our businesses and make them more sustainable long-term. So if something happens in the future, whether it's a hurricane or any other type of crisis or just an economic downturn, we have our small businesses and business in general ready for whatever comes our way, and are able to take advantage of any changes that might happen and pivot quickly to those new opportunities or new ways of doing business. And so that's why these organizations are important. Again, visit our website, bizhelp.miami. Again, a great resource for a lot of information. Access Helps and the South Florida Anchor Lines for procurement opportunities, and all those organizations that have assistance or provide financial opportunities for the short term, long term, that can help grow your business. I probably could ramble on a little longer. And again, as mentioned, I'm a teacher by training. I still teach at Barry University and other places, but I want to just end it here and give you an opportunity to make sure that I answer your questions or have a conversation of some of your experiences with service providers, what you have done, what you've done with your clients, etc.
Great job. There actually are a few questions in the chat box that maybe
Okay.
we can open it up. Crowd here today. So the first one is a two-part question. It is from our fearless. What type of funding is available to businesses at low? And is there a minimum number of employees as a criteria? And then our second question is, I'm sorry.
The question from the beginning.
What type of fund?
Michael,
Yes.
Michael, we're having trouble with your sound.
Okay, Elaine, read your question, please.
Let's see. What type of funding is available to businesses that locate in the county? Is there a minimum number of employees required? And is it mostly the tech industry that is moving to the county?
No and no. So there's no requirement for most of the loan programs. There's no job creation or anything. It's what are your financials? What are you trying to accomplish? And will you be able to pay back your loan over a period of time, whatever the loan terms are? So there's no requirements from that side. From our incentive piece, if you want to bring it to a completely different type of financial assistance, potentially, yes, there are job creation numbers, but that is at a whole different level because the minimum number of jobs to be created, 10 at a minimum. And so that for small business, it's a little harder. But from a traditional and or alternative funding sources, there's no job creation requirements. From industries that are coming our way, runs a gamut. Trade logistics, we see a lot of financial service type companies coming from the Northeast for a variety of reasons. We have a lot of interest in life science companies, tech, either homegrown or from other places. So it runs the gamut. And one of the things that I always try to show when I do presentations is the makeup of our economy. We are very diverse in the types of business that we have. Unfortunately, and that's one of our roles as organization, we are often seen as a tourism destination, which is very important, and it's one of the major components of our economy, but it's not the only part of the economy. So train logistics probably our largest industry, very large professional services industry, which a lot of is centered around Aventura, financial services, etc. So we're very diverse, which also reflects the companies that are either expanding here or coming here from other places. They are in a variety of industries. Same way all of you are in a variety of industries.
Yeah, are you able to hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, and I apologize. As the Zoom administrator, over 100 meetings, I should set the example and have my audio be strong. So I don't think this happened before, so it's always a first. All right, you might have already answered this, and if you did, I'll move on to the next question. How do we get access to the different types of assistance available other than financial assistance?
Is either through us if need be, and we can then put in touch with the right organizations depending on your need. And we've done that through some other programming we've done, or just reach out to the folks that are listed on those websites. They're ready to help. They want to help. And that's why we brought a lot of them together. We're working with about 30 plus organizations to make sure that they understand what the needs are in the community. So we try to track what the questions are that people are looking, or the information people are looking for. And that's why we have some sense of topics, access to capital being the number one, but any marketing type and or business to business type opportunities. So just reach out to those organizations. They're waiting for you to call them. They are not waiting, sitting there just hoping that we bring them somebody. Just reach out to them, and they are glad to help you. And if not, we can figure out if there's somebody else who can provide a service. If they tell you that's not really what we're doing, if they don't prefer you to somebody else.
Great. The last question in the chat box is, does the Beacon Council work with CareerSource to train people and provide jobs for those who have lost their jobs due to COVID?
We don't work directly with CareerSource on that topic. We have, well, let me say differently. We're very close with CareerSource, Rick Beasley and his team, on a variety of topics, and have been over the years. So that we have a very close working relationship with CareerSource. We're actually involved in one program that they put up, the layoff aversion program, which is a reimbursement of expenses based on your need to be ready for opening because of COVID. And so that's a program we have been working with them. It's their program. We have been working with them on it. They are doing their own training programs, and then we promote them. The one piece that we did, understanding that as we move out of this crisis, and again, it's a health crisis and then an economic crisis, is that the world will not be the same. And part of this, the type of jobs, number of jobs available in certain industries. So we realize that upskilling and reskilling is a major aspect of how we recover as a community. So we put up a website, and again, partner with a lot of organizations called miamitech.works. And that's a site that provides information on training providers. It could be Miami-Dade College, could be coding school, and others on reskilling or upskilling or finding new skills related to the technology sector. And it doesn't have to be a coder or high-level software developer. That could be any type of technical training that allows you to move away from your industry you're in, or move within your industry into other opportunities compared to what you were doing before. But we're working on, and you'll see the community in general, and the college and the universities are pushing hard too on figuring out what other skill sets and other certificate programs can be put out there to make sure that our employees, our workers that might have lost their job or know that things are changing, can get those skill sets.
Great. It looks like we're doing very good on time. Before we turn it back to Gary, does anybody want to ask a question verbally?
No more questions. I didn't see
Yes,
any
yes,
more.
yes.
Actually, it looks
chat
like
room
Ron
either, right,
Silver.
Michael?
Yes,
Looks
yes.
like Ron Silver doesn't like
Yep.
using the chat box. He likes talking. So Ron.
Yeah,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. It's more of a statement than a question. I have a great affinity for the Beacon Council because I was part of a trio of people that created it back in 1985. when I chaired the Florida legislative delegation
Mhm.
down here, Ted Hepner and Merritt Sturheim were the other ones that created this. And the reason why, which I think is relevant, is because there was no one place for people to go to have assistance if they wanted to come to the area for business. There was no one area that you had to go to each city or whatever the case was. So you all done a great job, and I recommend that anybody that has an interest in securing business, a new business or whatever it is, they are great for the resources that they have. So I congratulate you on that.
Thank you. And I've been lucky enough, we're celebrating our 35th, and well, because as Ron said, 1985, so we're celebrating this year our 35th anniversary, and I have had the opportunity to be involved for the last 25 of those. So I've seen, like many of you, a lot of changes in the community and a lot of projects that we worked with that came here and became success stories.
Great.
Keep.
All right. Anybody else before we get it back to Gary? Or Gary, you want those
I don't know.
reins back?
Elaine, anything else we need to update anybody on since we're a
Oh,
little
we're
ahead of
just
schedule?
great. We did it all.
All right. Well, then, that being said, we are at 10:45. On behalf of the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce and our partners today, the North Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to thank everybody. We'd certainly like to thank Dr. Denoth from the Miami-Dade Beacon Council for all of that information, especially in the times that we are all experiencing now. Anything that we can do to have areas to reach out to for assistance, whether it's business, financial, whatever it might be, the information that was provided today, I'm sure will benefit either everybody on this call or somebody that you know. So if you have any questions, please do not, again, as Doctor said, please reach out to the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. So thank you to the Aventura Hilton again, and Ronaldo for all of his continued support. For that being said, have a great day in the city of Aventura and the great city of North Miami Beach. Thank you, everybody, for giving your time this morning. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye, Ev. Thank you.